Hello everyone. If you're like me, you're always searching for great new Chinese restaurants. Do you scour the internet looking for what may become your next insanely good go-to Chinese place? What if you could find that, and the place also has retro prices? Seems too good to be true. Then fasten your seatbelts, because we're taking you to the grand opening of the newest Chinese restaurant in Las Vegas, where supposedly you can find all this and more. We were lucky enough to find a brand new restaurant that opened just a few months ago. They still have a grand opening banner waving in the breeze out front. This place is going viral and gets packed every day. There's a lot of hype on Yelp. They're one of the highest rated Chinese restaurants right now in Vegas. Yelpers are tossing around grandiose statements such as life-changing and mind-altering. Kind of sounds like us. One Yelper even commented, "The chef here deserves a standing ovation." Well, you all know what I think of Yelp, so let's get to work to see what all the fuss is about, and if this new restaurant, Lucky House Seafood, is truly worth all the accolades. They're known for making homemade dim sum, serving live seafood, as well as other popular, time-honored, and beloved classic Chinese entrees. Sounds like our kind of place. We're excited to take you with us today on our journey as we explore this new restaurant. Okay, we started the day with steamed barbecue pork buns, aka bao. Look how fluffy and rough around the edges these are. You can tell they're homemade. If you've watched some of my other videos, you've probably heard me tell you that most of the bao in the city are no longer made in-house. They're purchased from suppliers selling a factory stamped out version. Tasty, yes, but lacking the love an in-house chef can impart. Well, I can tell you they make these here, and they're lighter than air. There's an art to making the dough just right. If you've watched any cooking shows where people attempt making bao, it's always an epic fail. This dough is sheer perfection. I can taste the yeasty flavor paired up with the sweet, wonderful, and decadent barbecue pork that's inside. I love all the sweet, syrupy goodness of the pork. It has a lot of Chinese five-spice, garlic, and I think even a hint of pineapple. They don't really need sauce, but they're great in this homemade dipping sauce I've concocted today. It's their excellent chili oil with just a hit of soy sauce. Also, this hoisin sauce they brought to the table pairs quite well with the bao. You really need to try them when you come here. Well, we are off to a flying start. I've had this truffle version of shumai at other places, such as Rainbow Kitchen, so when I saw them on the menu here, well, I just had to order them. Some say the taste of truffles comes predominantly from its scent, which is oaky, nutty, and earthy, but also with a biting, savory note, causing an illusion of taste from the taste buds. A great deal of our sense of taste does come from our sense of smell. Here, the truffle floods both our sense of taste and smell, and it's powerfully rewarding. These are real truffles, and not just truffle oil. I have no idea how they can afford to charge only $6.98. They were double the price at Rainbow Kitchen, and I didn't blink an eye paying for them as I'm obsessed with all things truffle. Real truffle, that is. Wow, look how juicy these are. I can taste the garlic ground pork and chunks of sweet shrimp. They're perfectly seasoned. But the star of these shumai are the mounds of amazing truffles that they're topped with. These will definitely make our list of top dim sum. So far, I'm loving this place, and I can see that there's a lot of truth to all the hype I've read about. These just might be some of the best I've ever tasted. Honey glazed walnut shrimp, one of my all-time favorite Chinese dishes. And these look bloody amazing. The shrimp are huge, and I love the beautiful walnuts. They're wonderfully glazed, very nicely candied and crunchy. You can taste the notes of sesame seeds, which have become intermingled with the candied walnuts. Fantastic. The shrimp are delightfully crispy, and the batter is flour mixed with a little cornstarch, so they're not at all chewy as they are at many places. The shrimp are so fresh they have no fishy taste whatsoever. The honey walnut shrimp at the Coronado Cafe has become my new standard by which I compare all others. They're second to none. So while I like the honey walnut shrimp here, they didn't surpass those at Coronado. I would put this in a league just below the Coronado along with places such as China Mama, Rainbow Kitchen, and Am Lee. So that's excellent company indeed, and definitely well worth a try. And at $15.98, well, that's a difficult price to beat. Would I order them again here? Well, while my honey walnut shrimp heart belongs to Coronado Cafe, these are an excellent version and I would definitely order them. It's a very good dish at an unbeatable price. You should try them. These Chive dumplings, they're up there with some of the best. And I have to agree with the Yelper who called these mind-blowing. They use a wonderful quality of shrimp in all the dishes at Lucky House, and this dish is no exception. Fresh and sweet. These have very solid, clean flavors. As you probably all know by now, I'm a huge fan of all things garlic. And so I love all the garlic they use in this, especially this abundance of garlic chives. This strong pungent taste is balanced against the fresh pork and shrimp and melts in your mouth when you bite into them. These were the first things I ever tasted as a lad when my mom first took me to dim sum. They're still my first love and obsession. I get them whenever I can. These are so nice and crispy, with that wok-high flavor on the outside and the soft texture of the interior. I'm loving them. And if I didn't have so many other dishes to review today, I'd for sure put in an order for 2 or 3 more of these and call it a day. These Taro dumplings, delicate and lacy. It's a culinary work of art. They're very tasty, although for the first time today, this dish is a little lacking in the salt department. Well, no worries. Should be perfect once I dip them into the chili oil and soy sauce I've previously concocted. Now, that's the ticket. Fantastic. These dumplings always fascinate me. I have no idea how they get this beautiful exterior. They remind me of a type of exotic sea creature you find maybe on a faraway planet. The outside of these is just wonderful. It tastes like a fresh, homemade, flaky potato chip. The ground beef abounds with garlic and a hint of sesame oil, along with notes of garlic chives. These fried taro dumplings have so much flavor. They're packed with deep, rich umami goodness, and I'm finding them quite sensational. I could eat 100 of these. I feel the need at this point to, again, call out their amazingly low prices. I've not seen dim sum with such low prices while still being delicious for a very long time. I feel like I've traveled back in time. Anyway, sweet and sour pork is one of those dishes that is ubiquitous with Chinese cuisine. But, as with most things, not all are created equal. Many people have told me they judge a restaurant by their preparation of this dish. At one time, this sweet and sour pork rendition would have been at the top of my list in all Vegas. But once again, I have to refer you to Coronado Cafe for my first place winner. This sweet and sour is, however, a close second. The pork is crispy with a nice batter of thin coating, not at all stodgy as so many places make it. And the big problem with the stodgy coating is it retains the grease. You don't realize it until you're halfway through, but then the grease catches up with you and makes you feel uncomfortably full and weighs you down. Not so here. This sweet and sour pork is a wonderfully balanced sauce. Its tartness evens out the sweetness and it's not at all overpowering. There's not too much onion, green pepper, or pineapple either. Utterly delicious. Wow, this is probably the best crispy roasted pork I've ever tasted. Not at all gamey, very fresh. The subtle flavor of Chinese 5-spice beams forth like a shining star and gives the pork a lively, brilliant flavor. The crispness of the skin is the hardest thing to get right, and they have nailed it. It's wonderfully crunchy and has great air pockets that dissolve as soon as they hit your mouth. If you just try one thing here, it should be this pork. I heard from a Yelper that the roast duck was also fantastic, and if it's anything like the way they prepared this pork, I'm sure it is. We're loving it. It's so moist and juicy, not at all dry, and the meat is uber tender. Make sure not to miss out on this tremendous dish. When I asked our server what he recommended, he right away suggested the shrimp dumplings. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, I really can't get over the prices here. $5.98 for Har Gow these days is unheard of. Look how beautiful these are, and they're a nice size as well. I particularly love the cute little miniature one in the center, and it too is filled with shrimp. In my book, these are the true test of good dim sum. I've heard many people say that if a dim sum chef can make the skin transparent and appears to have a slight silver cast, that it's made properly. Well, the chef here has mastered this. Of course, the real test is in the taste. And these are truly delicious. The only taste you get here is pure, rich, wonderful shrimp, a hint of garlic, and a little salt. I love the skin of the wrapper. It's so nice and thin and has the perfect amount of chew to it. These are a must-try when you come here, and I can see why the server so readily recommended them. Always one of my favorite things to order at dim sum. These pan-fried turnip cakes are some of the best I've ever had. They don't fall apart when you cut into them. They have a nice, crispy fried exterior, and the interior has the texture of cooked potato, nice and soft. Sometimes I've not enjoyed these cakes because many restaurants put too much dried shrimp inside, and they come out with a very fishy taste. These have absolutely no fishy flavor whatsoever. They're just perfectly seasoned with salt and white pepper. These may be some of the best I've ever had. Totally delicious, and yet another must-try dish when you come here. Look at how gorgeous these are. They're almost too pretty to eat. They're the classic rice noodle wrap, dressed up with a crispy fried shrimp and pork on the inside. They're ornately arranged on the plate after being wrapped, cut, and placed on their side. This is a type of presentation I expect to see in the cover of Bon Appetit magazine, and I can assure you, they taste even better than they look. First, you get the glutinous rice noodle texture that surrounds the superb filling. Then you bite into these expecting the wonderfully salty, spicy shrimp and pork, but a hidden surprise awaits as the shrimp and pork are encased in a crispy coating with the addition of woodier mushrooms. Your taste buds are propelled into ecstasy. There's so many flavors and textures going on in this dish. It's fabulous. To top it off, I love the little crispy fried onions you can see here that look like garnish. They add an explosion of flavor as they dissolve in your mouth. The pork and shrimp are the stars of this show, yes, but with an amazing cast of supporting characters as well. I can't recommend this dish enough. They have some very attractive serving trays here, such as this one for the fried stuffed dumplings. Much nicer than getting one of those steel warming tins you get at most places. If you ever have trouble finding this dish on the menu, just ask your server for the little footballs. They'll usually know exactly what you mean. We love these sturdy, glutinous shells filled with ground pork, garlic, soy, and white pepper. Though not stuffed with a ton of filling, the flavor is sensational, some of the best in the city. Another home run for Lucky House Noodle. Deep fried shrimp balls, usually found on the top of most people's list of favorite Chinese appetizers. Many times they'll arrive to your table with a sugarcane handle. It's like a shrimp lollipop with a sugar stick. What's not to like? These are wonderful. They're really nothing more than fresh, chunky ground and chopped shrimp with a little egg white and cornstarch to bind them. They're sort of the Chinese equivalent of a crab cake. These are so nice and crunchy, and the shrimp is, yet again, just wonderfully sweet and fresh. They're great along with this sauce, which is a simple combination of mayo with a little honey that slightly sweetens, but adds so much to the flavor of these little dumplings. You're going to love these. I almost didn't order this dish. So many restaurants disappoint with a version of this dish, which has caused me an aversion to this dish. But not today. I loved it. Wow, the crispy noodles have a nice toasty taste to them, and the ones that have softened from this delicious gravy are sensational. This dish is electric with flavor. I love the gravy. It's boldly seasoned, not at all bland. The Chinese sauce is rich with lots of chicken stock, soy, and garlic. I'm loving it. They know how to push the envelope with seasoning here. It's just right. Not too salty, yet miles away from being bland. This dish is a twofer. First, you get to enjoy the crispy noodles. Then it morphs into a totally different animal as the noodles become soft and chewy. It's just wonderful. I'd get this Hong Kong noodle dish anytime. I love all the beef, shrimp, and chicken. It's perfectly velveted, then flash fried in a wok with bok choy, carrots, snap peas, and water chestnuts. You have to order this. You're going to thank me later. This is one of our favorite things to eat here. They're amazing. The dough is fantastic, nice and thin with a wonderful yeasty flavor. I love the charred exterior they get from frying these after they come out of the steamer. So much flavor in these. The chicken is rich with fatty and salty goodness. They're not afraid of using garlic at Lucky House Seafood either. These are just bursting with tons of umami richness. And while they're fantastic on their own, they go perfectly with any of the sauces they have. I particularly love the mustard, and of course you know I'm obsessed with chili oil. The hoisin sauce paired well also. I'm in heaven right now. I could eat nothing but these and be content. One word of warning though, they're called sizzling buns for a reason, and will come to your table piping hot. They greatly retain the heat on the inside, so be careful when you bite into them. Baked egg yolk cream buns, commonly referred to as pineapple buns because they resemble little pineapples. But regardless of the name, no pineapples are harmed in the making of this dish. These are fabulous and always a great way to end a meal at dim sum. The pastry itself is perfectly executed. They're going to make a beautiful mess of the table, but they're so worth it. And I've got 2 boys at home who love it when I return covered in crumbs. The warm, creamy egg yolk custard is just the perfect degree of sweetness and won't overpower you. I would say that these are as good as any custard buns I've had anywhere, ever. They're rich and delicious and perfectly vanilla-y. No matter how full I am, there's always room for dessert, and these beautifully hit the spot. As we noted in the intro, one Yelper felt the chef here deserves a standing ovation. Well, we wholeheartedly concur, and we're very pleased to have found Lucky House Seafood. We love so many dishes, it's hard to pick just 1 or 2 standouts. So we had to open up to 4 that I've been dreaming about ever since I left. The sizzling fried chicken buns, the house pan fried noodles, the seared rice roll with pork and shrimp, and of course, the unforgettable Lucky roasted pork. I know we'll be ordering them on our return visit. As for the extracurriculars, the staff is very warm and welcoming, and the interior is beautiful and inviting. It's a fun place to be. It's always a little risky going to such a new place. You never know what you're going to find. But for a restaurant that opened just a handful of months ago, they've got their act together and are already a shining star in the Vegas Valley. And I believe Vegas is taking notice. We've been there 3 times now, and each time it was a full house. We'll definitely be back soon. Who knows, maybe you'll see us there. And as always, make sure to tell them Let's Eat Vegas sent you. I know we're all guilty of watching YouTube videos and not participating. Please like, comment, subscribe, or even become a VIP member. It means a lot to us, and it helps us grow and to bring you more reviews. Until we eat again, bon appetit.